All right, welcome back, everybody. I am honored to round out our day today with our last award this year, which is particularly special to me. And this is this year's what we call the Beacon of Hope Award, which is being given to someone that I have tremendous respect for, and that is Mervyn Brookins. Mervin's probably not going to like this little presentation, but that's okay. I want to tell you a little bit about Mervyn and how I encountered him. And I'm hopeful that we have a lot of community members, family members, law enforcement folks that have been able to zoom in to see you receive this award, Merv. A long time ago, somebody once said to me that there are people in this world who come to live out loud. There are people in this world that come to live out loud, and having now known Mervyn for a couple years, there's no doubt in my mind that Mervyn Brookins came to live out loud. A few days ago, I listened to a podcast that Mervyn, myself, and Chief Hahn did a little while back on the importance of working together in our system and the relationship that our office has built, the police department's built, and you and Brother to Brother have built in this community. And I was reminded that the first time that I met Mervyn was about 5 years ago, maybe 6 now, before I was elected, and it was at a church up in the north area. I think it's called Jubilaire, right? And it was somewhat of a town hall meeting, and I think the thing that I hope had an emphasis was when the question was posed, if you get this job, are you willing to listen? And my answer, of course, was absolutely. Why would we not? And to be honest, I'm not sure I remember you, because there was a lot of people at that forum. But I definitely remember having conversations with you, and you calling me up, getting my phone number and calling me up and said, hey, can we talk about this case or that case? And I didn't know anything about you when I first met you, Mervyn. I didn't know your story. I didn't know your path of life. But once I learned your path of life and what you do for this community, I cannot tell you how much I respect you. And so when I talk to you about this Beacon of Hope Award today, it comes from the heart for me. I mean, I look at this quote, be a guiding light, a safe harbor, a beacon of hope, and a solid foundation for those around you. I think it absolutely defines who you are as a human being. This year's theme for this year's Crime Victims' Rights Week is this week we're celebrating across this country, and there's always a theme every year. And this year, I think, is particularly relevant because for you, every one of these phrases means something. Support victims, build trust, engage communities. Now, I'm going to talk about kind of each of these themes and what Mervyn has done and why we're here today for him. But what I've learned about Mervyn for the last 5 or 6 years, if you want to know the real Mervyn Brookins, you just got to look at his Facebook page. That's it. I know he's going to get nervous really a lot right now because he knows I'm about to show stuff from the Facebook page. Because I know you, but I think when people look at your Facebook page, you see things about you that are so, you came out to live out loud. Your wit and your wisdom, your attitude towards your community, your attitudes towards law enforcement, and what we can do together. I learned from you probably 3 or 4 years ago a phrase you use about yourself, that you are the credible messenger. And there's no question that Mervyn Brookins is a credible messenger in this community. So when I think about this, who you are, and this theme of support victims and build trust and engage communities, I start with, hopefully this is going to show, I start with this, which is, you know, there's no question that we face struggles in our communities now with law enforcement. There's no question. And for me and for this office, what I see in Mervyn Brookins is an individual that constantly wants to build that trust and engage our communities. And I look at, I mean, I know you have an incredible relationship with Chief Hahn. I hope he's on. If he's not on, I'm sure he's smiling about this day. But these are again, just pictures from your Facebook page. And then I saw one a couple days ago, which talked about, this is like in March, about, these are our children that we want to make sure are safe in our communities. And you are engaging our children of our community. To me, it speaks volumes about what you're willing to do to keep your children safe, our children safe. Again, it speaks volumes. And the other thing about this one, the last line, let's talk solutions. And that's, to me, is, again, that says everything, because I know it's true. I mean, every time Mervyn calls up and says, hey, I got this case, will you guys look at this? I've got this problem, will you look at this? We do our very best to find solutions. We may not always agree, but we're always going to listen, and we're always going to do the best we can to find those solutions. And then you look at some of the things that you do with the community. Again, it's you live out loud, Merv. You do. I mean, you're what do you call this tie event? T-shirts to ties, right? It speaks volumes about what you are giving back. And this one here on the right, this one particularly warms my heart because, your last line in this, showing this young child, is this one of your grandkids, or is it just, oh my goodness, whoa, I love it. What's your name? Justin. This is a pretty cool picture. But your line at the bottom is, we are the foundation. And, again, to me, it goes back to engaging communities, building trust, and building that foundation. And then you look at some of these other things that you see, and the real Mervyn Brookins often comes out, and what he's doing to enhance the lives of so many people in our community. And you look at what he does with youth sports. Anybody that knows Mervyn Brookins knows that his real life is all about youth sports. Whether it's cheerleading for younger girls, whether it's football for younger kids, it's really remarkable. And then you ask yourself, what exactly will Mervyn Brookins do to help the community, to help raise money, to put money back into those programs? He's going to be really mad with this one because he claims this person has not been seen in years. It's called Firecracker Dan. Firecracker Dan has not been seen in a long time, but this is what Mervyn does to raise money for his community. And it's, again, look at you guys, I'm going to give you a copy of this when we're done, okay? Do you still have that suit? Firecracker Dan is not. But this is the 4th of July. If anybody wants to help raise money, go out to the 4th of July stand, and you'll get a glimpse of Firecracker Dan. When we talk about what you do for the kids in your community, there's a quote I saw one day. It says, "Hope is born in the faces of children." And all of what you do, Merv, for these kids in our community is hope in the faces of children. And that speaks volume. And what you do for youth programs is truly extraordinary. And hope, when we talk about, hope, these are more photos that you have put on your Facebook page. You go to the police, I know Eklund's here. Oh, Eklund, I call you Eklund. You do extraordinary work with law enforcement and you go, and this one on the left I think is from the academy, if I'm correct, and you go in and you teach law enforcement because you want that relationship to only get better. You come to our youth academies. I'm sure Rochelle has seen you there, our citizens academies. We've sat on panels together to talk about what can we do to find solutions. And then here on the right, you've told me this in both your personal story as well as what you've done since you've came back, is you go back into custodial settings and you give back and you enhance the lives of so many people that when they come out of those settings, they're going to be far better off. So you have found hope for not just children, but for adults within our community. And then we have these things, I'm going to call them Mervelations. This is where the wit and the wisdom comes from Mervyn Brookins. And this is just a couple days ago. Mervin's post from a couple days ago. If you focus on the behavior that changes momentary, lasting change comes from changing the beliefs that produce behavior. Mervelations. It's going to be a new word in the dictionary, I guarantee you. And then we have another one, which I would consider a mervelation. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. It's within you to succeed. It's really, honestly, for me, it's extraordinary, the wisdom that he passes on to so many people within our community. And then every so often we have these Mervelations that they're just Merv. I think the scale of my doctor's office is smoking some weed. Every time I come, it gets higher and higher. There was something about a dryer, too. I'm like, something's wrong with my dryer. My clothes keep shrinking. And I'm like, I have the same dryer. Your wit and your wisdom is really extraordinary. And I think part of the reason why it was so important for us today to recognize you is not just what you've done for the community, for building trust, but your support for crime victims, which may sometimes feel like we're in somewhat of a different role, but we're really not. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to feel safe. We want to have a healthy life. We want to raise our kids in a healthy environment. And so this year, when our office started this Voices for Victims Coalition, a lot of really great ideas came out. Who should we include? And then this concept came out, well, why don't we include community activists that can be advocates? Because many times when people are caught up in the system, whether it's on the accused side or the victim side, they've been victims, oftentimes even if they're accused on this time. And who better to speak for that and to speak up that has that credible messenger theme than Mervyn Brookins? And so this year we started this, and the whole purpose of this coalition, as many of you know, is to advocate, to make sure we have policies and practices and laws that are balanced and actually hear from both sides of the aisle. And when we asked Mervyn Brookins, it was an absolute yes right away. And so you kind of round out those three things. You support victims, you build trust, and you engage communities. But I cannot and I would not leave today without the clear, important demonstration of Mervin's commitment, no matter how much teasing. That would be Merv from his grandbaby's filter system. Which one did it? Which one's filters? He knew I was going to do this because I did take a picture. To me, it's about, he took it in stride. He got the text right away from Chief Hahn. Oh, we're saving that for someday. But all through all of that, his commitment to all of those things has withstood. And so for those reasons, Mervyn, when we think about all of those things, I look at this quote: you have been, without a doubt, a guiding light. No question, you have provided safe harbor from folks in the community. You are a beacon of hope, and you are providing a solid foundation for those around us. So congratulations, Mervyn. You are the Beacon of Hope Award recipient. Come on up. Very nice. And I'll give you that too.
This is beautiful.
Do you want to talk a little bit? Did I tell you you're supposed to talk?
No.
Okay. No pressure.
This is really nice. Really nice. Thank you. Thank you to you personally and to your office for presenting me with this award. It really does mean a lot. Represents coming full circle since coming home. And, individual awards are usually accomplished through teams. And this is my team. I think this is the first time I've had at least a majority of my grandkids with me doing anything. I normally don't invite them to events like this, but today I wanted them to be here because they always say I don't have a job, I don't have anything to do. But I wanted them to be here so they could see the work that I do and the importance that I do it. I take them out on feeding the homeless and they don't know why. But slowly but surely I'm trying to introduce them to the selfless work so that one day that they'll be doing the same things. You know, it's through my own flaws that I came to understand the impact that crime has on communities and families, and that's my motivation for doing what I do, for reaching out and trying to be a blessing to other people. I often tell others that when I went to prison, to this day, I set a negative example. And I don't know how many people that my actions negatively impacted at that time. So today, I try to do as much as I can, as often as I can, to make sure that my actions today are leading people in the right direction. And I know building trust and building relationships with law enforcement benefits our community, as well as law enforcement. So again, thank you. I really, really mean it when I say this means a lot to me. I'm glad to see Captain Oliver here. You know, I look around the room and we started out as, you know, trying to build trust, trying to build relationships, getting to know each other. And I feel like I can look around the room now and see not just Captain Oliver, but a friend, along with District Attorney Norgard and Ho Tin and everybody on the staff. So again, thank you. I'm truly honored. I'm blessed, and I look forward to continue to building this relationship.